Hi folks, welcome to Crisco's Corner. Are you tired of the same old blah, 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 blah from the media? Do you like unfiltered commentary? Would you like to go back to the days when our rights meant something? Well, you've come to the right place, Crisco's Corner. The fight to get back the ideals of our founders will be long and hard. Please support the channel by subscribing. And as always, thank you for your support. Hi folks, welcome back to Crisco's Corner. It is about 12:45 a.m., quarter to 1 in the morning, Eastern Standard Time, and these are the results so far. I believe 97% in for the Georgia Senate runoff elections, just by a weird fluke electors too, and they're both in Georgia. Now, you can see here, it looks like the counties that haven't reported yet, you can see in the white, look like they're in Democrat strongholds. I don't know. And you can see Loeffler is behind Warnock by 35,000 votes is all out of over 4 million cast. And Purdue is ahead by less. About 1,200 votes he's ahead out of over 4 million cast. This is amazing. Now you look below there, updated. This is from the Fox homepage. And look at it, Purdue favors, and then Warnock. It's look at the huge margins for Warnock. I don't want to call foul yet, but those are ridiculously large. In the same counties, the same precincts that reported, look at the vote margin for Purdue: 1,200, 1,800, 3,500. 35,000, 32,000. Those things are way too lopsided. I don't buy it. I'm sorry. It's one of those irregularities again. And I pray to God that the spineless neocons that are running the state of Georgia, I'm not a big fan of the governor anymore, or their Secretary of State after he leaked out a private conversation with the president. Thought that was really shitty. Whether you like Trump or not, that was still a crappy thing to do. Remember, folks, FRAUD is not okay if it helps the person you want. It undermines the entire process. I'm not saying this happened. I'm not saying it happened here. But this is Georgia. It shouldn't be this close. And I will say this. There's going to be out there going to go, well, Trump, he screwed them all. His mouth and his rhetoric and his attitude and blah, 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 blah. The fact of the matter is this. They didn't support Trump enough. Both Loeffler and Purdue. Now, I don't recall how they voted for the stimulus. They should have said no. We're not voting until all the fat and foreign aid is cut out and we give it to our citizens first and only this time. In the future, we'll go back to what we usually do with foreign aid. I don't know if they both did it. I don't think so. But all the Republicans should have said that. And I like Mitch McConnell a lot. He's very good at rounding up votes. We'll see what happens here, but you can see that the precincts not reporting are in heavy Democrat areas. I don't know what's going to happen. I really don't. I pray that the Republicans get at least one out of these two. I don't think it's a good idea to have one-sided government, especially when that government is so far progressive left, you can't even see that far. I think it's dangerous. I think it's not healthy for the country. Everyone needs someone to tell them no. People will go too far unless there's a check and a balance. And you say, well, a check and a balance, John, sometimes it just stagnates things, and it's gridlock. Good. Anybody read any of the writings from the founders will tell you they didn't call it gridlock. I think they call it a stalemate or whatever word they use, but it's the same, is a good thing because it's much easier to fix something before you break it. If you go so far bad that it takes 10 times as long to fix it, whereas gridlock and stalemate stops things from going to crap. Because my particular opinion and my reading of the founders and the Constitution and people a lot smarter than I am that are historical scholars all say the same thing. And I'm going to put it in my particular words. The Constitution is written with checks and balances for one reason and one reason only. People suck. Me included. I like to think that I'm on the end that sucks a lot less than most, but that's not for me to decide. It's up to the people I interact with and God. And it still holds today. The rule's just the same. You can't have too much on one side because people will go too far. They always do. Given the opportunity, will go too far. And not because I'm a Republican. I'm a former Democrat. I used to be a local elected official. I was a city council member from 2000 to 2007 as a Democrat. I left the party in 2013. So this isn't partisan bullshit, lack of a better term. Sorry to swear, but I think that was appropriate. Everybody needs a check and balance, including me. And especially people that have power and authority over 300 million people, and actually even more outside the United States, and the influence that the U.S. has on the world with peace and economics. I think this is a microcosm kind of in a weird way of our country right now. Both sides are in desperate fight for the future of our country. And I remember reading the North and the South during the Civil War in the 3 days of the Battle of Gettysburg, which pretty much settled it. I mean, the war was lost for the South anyway. Not that I want them to win. I mean, I'm not a big slavery fan, but I mean, it was horrible. And in fact, I think it was General Longstreet that said we should have freed the slaves and then fired on Fort Sumter. But I digress. The people in the North and South and the soldiers on the battlefield, but all the people, and everybody thinks, well, they didn't have technology back then. Now they had telegraph. They could find out in 5 minutes what happened in Gettysburg and find out 5 minutes later in Washington and in the big cities in the United States. So let's cut through the crap that they were just hicks, because they're not. They're incredibly intelligent and articulate and resourceful people. The country held its breath because it could have went either way. If the Confederacy had swept the field as Lee did continuously over the years, this wasn't Grant, this is General Meade and the Union side. If Lee had done it again, and with the peace treaty probably would have been signed, at least an armistice, to hold off on hostilities. And God knows we could have been two different countries, and who knows what could have happened. The South held its breath. The North held its breath. And the people also held their breath because they had loved ones and friends in those armies on both sides. All Americans. Just like this one is all Americans with two very, very different ideologies. Am I saying that the Democrat Party today is the party of slavery? Of course not. That'd be stupid. But I think their ideology is extremely harmful to low-income and non-white people. Let's just tell the truth here. I think their policies have kept low-income and non-white people down for decades. And if they have a free hand, I don't know what's going to happen. I don't know. But just like in 1863, when the Battle of Gettysburg started, the country held its breath. And here we are, basically a dead draw. And we're holding our breath once again for the future of our country. And until next time, goodbye and good luck.